our country is a little bit like we treat political parties as sports teams. So we kind of latch on and then just root for our party as though it's the best thing in the world and they can do no wrong. And so do you think that there's an opportunity for us who the stereotypically dreamer millennials, is there an opportunity for us to move back towards principle at all?
I absolutely do. And I feel like, and I've actually seen them put out numbers that say that as time goes on, both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, are starting to lose loyalty. They're starting to lose membership. I feel like millennials are starting to make up their own minds about what they are and what they want to be, and they're not necessarily falling in line with either the left or the right. Simultaneously, you're seeing growth in the Libertarian Party, and I feel like millennials kind of have that attitude of live and let live. They are fiscally conservative. They are also, at the same time, socially liberal.
Yeah.
And that liberality is, I feel like, a driving force in the youth today. And I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah.
Because as a libertarian myself, I kind of hold the principle of don't break my arm or take money out of my wallet without asking me and we're fine.
Yeah.
And, I'm not my brother's keeper. I'm not here to tell you what to do because you're not going to tell me what to do. I don't like it, so I'm not going to do it to you. And I feel like the millennials kind of have a grasp on that. The more time goes on, the more we get from that age group of people. And I absolutely do. I think it's happening naturally. I think that there is a natural resistance to the message that both of the major parties are putting out right now.
Yeah.
And it's just going to eventually happen with or without Republican or Democrat help.
Yeah. Question, do you think that there's something that we need to do to be reforming the parties, or we just kind of need to start with something new? Or are we turning to third party like Libertarian? Because when Abe Lincoln ran in 1860, the Republican Party was a third party. So is that cycle now happening to us, kind of?
I feel like, there's a new day coming. I feel like I said, this is going to happen naturally. It's not going to. This
nothing we can do to push it along.
No. This is going to sound a little morbid, but the old guard on both parties are literally dying off.
Yeah.
And you're seeing them slowly replaced by these younger crowds who believe more hardcore in the purpose of liberty, or the principle of liberty.
Yeah.
There are going to be some extremes on the other side and this is one interesting thing that I am seeing. I'm seeing two extremes here. One going toward liberty. Leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. And the other to absolute tyranny, which is funny.
Right.
You have a whole bunch of people like the social justice movement, the third wave feminists, all of them, they are absolutely just drawn to this. I control you through social pressure type of movement, and I'm going to turn that somehow into government action, which is funny. It's funny because that's what's pushing everyone to the other side.
Right.
You have this extreme kind of making everyone leave that side and wanting to go to, okay, well, just leave me alone. Why can't you do that?
Right. Absolutely.
I think that there's not going to be much to be done. I mean, I absolutely think that people should still fight and they should still push toward liberty. They should still research on their own what the truth is, because honestly, the truth will oftentimes be the thing that really kind of drives you to liberty.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
I noticed.
That's true. Yeah. So.
And so I feel like if we just keep going with our natural inclination to keep a weather eye out, to keep gathering information. I mean, we live in the information age right now, where information comes so easily to us, and we drink it up, like crazy. Like we just do it naturally.
Yeah.
Keep doing what we're doing, but at the same time, this is an inevitable change that's going to happen.
Okay.
Or another.
Okay.
Things are going to go more toward liberty. I mean, that's just the way it's going to happen.
So we live in the day and age where information is so completely readily available. What is that going to bring about accountability, or does that just bury us in misinformation? Is there any way to kind of regain sort of a semblance of control at all?
You know what? This is kind of the funny thing about living in the information age, the fact that you have a very good aspect about it and a very bad aspect about it. It is very easy to circulate misinformation, the fake news,
Fake
if
news.
you will. And I've actually, I have to admit, on a couple articles, I've been a part of it. It happens completely on accident. Obviously, I'm not circulating misinformation on purpose.
Right.
But for instance, I'll give you a perfect example. The bacon shortage. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Okay, so there was news going around for a while that we're at a bacon shortage. Yeah,
I do remember.
Our stock of pork belly was going down, and so I wrote an entire article around it because the bacon lover, that panicked me a little bit, so I wanted to get the information out. And it turns out that was completely false. There was no thing. Another thing recently happened with Justin Amash. Yeah. Justin Amash, they said that he cried when he missed his first vote. That's what Politico reported, and that's what everyone picked up on and ran with. However, I got inside information that said he didn't cry at all. But I had already written up the article about it. So that happens, But at the same time, the great part about being a reporter today and being a witness to all the news that is happening today on the internet is that while it used to be that, a lie could get around the world twice before the truth could get its pants on, the funny thing is now the truth doesn't have to get its pants on. It can, in its underwear, just get to the computer and say what it needs to say. So, it's funny how fast truth will get out now via random sources or, Twitter, social media, stuff like that. So, a lie is easily disseminated, but true. So is the truth nowadays.
With a very evocative metaphor. Okay, great. Well, I think that's true. It's true. Yeah. It depends on the source, too. The sources of will news sources be held to accountability? So, like, if they print something false, are they going to later go and retract it? So I guess that is yet to be seen.
Yeah. Usually whenever a news source does retract something, they will announce that they've retracted. The New York Times is just heinous about that kind of thing, where if any retraction or apology they want to print out will not be on the front page. Will be
like in the back.
Little column somewhere. It's like,
Yep.
That's it. And so it's a lot. Yeah, well, it's hard for news organizations to hold themselves accountable. I feel like sometimes if they hold themselves accountable, they try to keep it as secret as possible. The great part about
we messed up, we can't tell anybody.
Exactly, Yeah. But and here's two things though. Two great things that I'm noticing. There was a push not long ago. I don't know if you recall Gamergate. Or whatever. Okay, so that was a huge push for ethics in journalism that went far beyond the gaming community.
Okay.
It affected a lot of reporters, and it basically said that, look, if you messed up, you fess up, or we're going to drag you through the mud for it. You will suffer for it. We're going to expose you. We're going to expose the story, and you're going to suffer. Mm-hmm. Your name will be dirt after that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, even as a reporter, I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Accountability. Exactly. Mm-hmm. You disclose the fact that you told a false story, even if it was a mistake. Just say, look, I regret the error. Here's what actually happened, and you make sure that people understand you did. If you had a connection to the person that you were reporting on or something like that, you disclose that information so that there's no confusion about your stance on things. Your bias is out there perfectly, and that's what people need to know. But here's the greatest part about today. The news reporting of today is the fact that it used to be a monologue. It used to be reporters talking at people.
Okay.
Because they would write in their papers or they would, say report from the TV or something like that, and they didn't have an audience immediately there to talk to them or correct them or anything like that. And nowadays, we live in a time where your audience is now talking with you. The monologue has become a dialogue. The moment that you put something out, somebody's going to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And immediately, whether it be on Twitter or on the site, if you enable comments, that kind of thing, if you put on a video at YouTube that reports something, there's going to be a lot of people disseminating that information and commenting about it. Mm-hmm. So the
black hole that is Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you now have a whole bunch of people. Instead of you being on a stage, you are now in the center of a crowd.
Yeah.
That is yelling at you about stuff, So if you mess up, you're gonna know. You're gonna know about it.
Someone's gonna tell you.
Yeah, they're not shy.
No.
People aren't shy about telling you when you screwed up.
How can we, as millennials, especially conservative or libertarian or whatever, millennials, can we kind of stay true in such a progressive and fast-moving, kind of separating that from progressive age, and stay true to the Constitution, to the founders, without seeming like we are obsolete or we are trying to drag the country backwards?
You know what? It's always funny when people say that, because I know what you're getting at is the
Yes.
fact that it seems like the conservative principles and stuff like that are the old timey values.
Thank you, FDR, for labeling us as conservatives.
Yeah. The funny part about that is, and this is something that I've been trying to impart since I got into the movement, was the fact that understand that this liberty movement, that what the founding fathers did, is the most recent kind of political stances there are. It is the most. It's the freshest ideas out there right now.
The most progressive.
Yeah, well, I mean, people think that socialism is rad and cool. It's like it's how you fight the man and yada yada yada. That's not at all true. The Constitution. And I said this years ago, and I'm going to say it again right now. It's the most punk rock document out there. It basically just says, do what you want to do. You are your own dude. Go and do it. And as a libertarian, I can't think of a better document out there. My stance is if you want to be a gay married dude defending your marijuana plants with a fully automatic rifle, then you go on and do it. And what's funny is our Constitution allows that kind of thing to happen. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to find that in many other places, in other countries and stuff like that really kind of barrel down.
Embraces them.
What's that?
Here we embrace the differences, the plurality of our culture versus just like a very...
Yeah, exactly. And it's so cool. I mean, so whenever millennials... they say something along the lines of like, the conservatives are the fuddy-duddies. They're trying to drag us backward into some time, back like the 1950s, 1800s, when women couldn't do this, that, or the other. And I'm like,
no.
It's our Constitution that actually put the people who didn't have power into power. Mm-hmm. Who never would have done this well in other countries. They've done well here because of that document, because of the founding fathers and what they planned out for this country. Even at the very beginning, the founding fathers owned slaves, but I mean, if you look at their writing and how they planned stuff out, I mean, they planned for slavery to end. Yeah. And they planned for everyone to be free and capable of doing whatever they want. So this is the most radical, the most fight the man idea out there. If millennials want to get behind that kind of thing, is the Constitution, is the liberty movement. This is how you actually get out. It's capitalism. This is how you get out there and really make a difference in the world. Yeah. And be on the cutting edge of politics, of political ideas. Yeah.
So how do we get that message out there then?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. One thing, and this has been a long, long time complaint of mine. I mean, you could go back to the first time I've ever appeared on anything with Dana, back when it was the Glenn Beck show and the Glenn Beck Network. Yeah. We talked about this. One of the biggest problems that we still face nowadays is the fact that the right has such a small presence, and I mean, like in pop culture. Yeah. We do not show up to this. I mean, okay, think about it this way. This pop culture, Andrew Breitbart once said that politics is downstream of culture. Yes. And that is absolutely true. Yes. Before anything hits the political realm, people have already made up their mind about it because of pop culture. They already know how they want to vote, what side they're going to take in an argument. Yeah. They already know what they're going to say and do, because pop culture had guided them to that point. Yeah. Pop culture is an amazing way to disseminate ideas and spread your message and stuff like that. So it is one of the biggest battlefields that we have in America, and conservatives and libertarians, I'm sad to say, are largely not showing up to this battlefield. The left owns it. Yeah. They just own it. You know, and I mean,
Yeah.
this is one of the largest information disseminating places on the planet, and we're just not taking part in this, you know.
Yeah.
So if we're really
So you're not at all frustrated about that?
Oh no, yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, this isn't something that I'm mad about at all.
Okay, great.
But no, it's just funny. Yeah, I feel like that because we see so much come out of Hollywood and the media that is leftist, we feel like that we've just lost the battlefield. Like, we're never going to get it back. It's just so overrun with leftists. And my first thought is like, well, that's really defeatist. You know, we're never going to at least try. We're never going to make inroads. We're never going to just little by little insert, you know, a conservative here, a conservative there, a conservative idea. We'll vote with our wallet and let them see what it is exactly that we want to buy. Because, I mean, if you look at movies that actually have a decent right-wing message within, like 13 Hours, American Sniper, I mean, these movies kill at the box office.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
Kill. And so that's the great thing, you know, you want to make sure that they hear you, you know, but it's not just them hearing us. It's not just them getting our money for doing well. It's us going in and taking part in it. It's us actually being brave enough to write music, and it's us being brave enough to act, and it's us being brave enough to go dance a ballet or something. Take part in that. Go to a music. Be a part of a musical. I used to do musicals when I was in high school. I love it. Yeah. I love singing and acting. You know. But one of the bigger problems that the left or the right has that the left does not is the fact that the left knows how to push a message without it being more or less propaganda, and the right only knows how to make propaganda. Yeah. You know, whenever we write a song, you know, the left will write a song about their feelings about something. Yes. The right will write a song about how our country's being torn apart because, you know, we've got bad taxes. I mean, that's you know, the horrible lyrics just like that. So, you know, we need to talk about life. We need to talk about love. We need to talk about happiness. We need to talk about anything but the actual thing that we're talking about. We need to tell a story. It's like what Jesus used to do, if you're into that. Jesus didn't really just go off a lot about, you know, like God's law. He talked about it, but he always translated what he's talking about through stories, through parables. You know, see, he wanted to draw you in with a story first, and then he's saying, now see what I'm talking about when I talk about this thing? This is exactly what I was talking about. This story helps you understand. And that's what conservatives need to understand. We need to be able to tell the story. Okay.
Aesop's Fables does that too. It has the lesson at the end of the story. So, okay. That's good. So how are we going to do that then? People just need to... Because I think a lot of conservatives feel that... like they are, not that stuff is stupid, but that they could be doing other things, like making a living, or, you know, they're like, oh, La La Land was stupid because it's the dreamers, and like that kind of perpetuates this lie that we're all going to make it someday, versus allowing ourselves to not being overrun by feelings, but allowing them to be there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That's something that, another thing, and this kind of goes back to the way millennial attitudes are changing. You would have the bravery to actually get out there, because you're asking me how would we do that?
Yes, how would we do that?
First, you have to make the conscious decision to try. Okay. You know, that comes on a personal level. Each individual has a specific talent that they are good at. For instance, you know, I like to sing and make comedy. I like to make jokes. I like to make skits. That's what I like to do. So I'm going to use that to push things.
Oh yeah, so that's what I do. Another person might be good at writing stories. Another person be good at writing songs. You know, I mean, it's just we all have specific talents that we can dedicate to it, but each person has to make the individual decision to try. Okay. And here's a great part about it, though. As I said before, with the millennial generation, with the old guard dying off, the millennial generation is more apt to give over to their feelings, to give over to what they, to art, to creativity, which was something that, you know, the old guard was just generally not that into, to be honest with you. You know, their whole entire, like, the craziest they got was about sports, you know? Let's talk about the baseball game. Fun, that's cool, I'm glad you are. I'm glad people are into sports, but I mean, there's, you know,
It's true.
You want to try to get people out there who just want more in the arts, because that's where we're going to change minds. Again, we're going to change minds on the pop culture battlefield before we ever change minds. So I feel like millennials are way more apt to do that, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what people come out with.
All right, one last question. It's a little bit different than this, but with our current administration, is there a good chance do you think of reducing government? Because we have a Republican presidency, House, and Senate, and at least in name, Republicans are supposed to want less government. So is there an opportunity for us to reduce that, or are we just kind of going to shift our control from party to party?
That's a good question. There are moments when I think one thing, and there are moments when I think another.
Yeah.
With this Obamacare legislation that's happening right now, that's coming out of the GOP, this is one of those times where I'm like, no, it's just going to be another episode of Democrat light.
Yeah.
There are other moments like reduced regulation and stuff like that where I'm like, hey, maybe we actually do have a chance. Mm-hmm. There are other moments where, like Trump is talking about tariffs on businesses that don't do what he wants them to do, and I think we're in trouble.
Yeah.
I think that right now we're still living in a time where the libertarians and the more conservative, they're still kind of finding their feet a little bit. And I feel like we're still not technically done with the old guard. They're obviously still in power. They voted in Trump, who is, for all intents and purposes, a Democrat.
Yeah.
And
was until fairly recently.
Well, yeah, and until it became more,
convenient. Yeah.
So and that would be strong words for a lot of people, but it is true. Even many Trump voters acknowledge this fact.
Yeah.
But it's one thing that we just kind of have to stay on top of. I mean, that's the only thing I can think to say right now for that is the fact that we as the younger generation have to be present. Mm-hmm. We have to show up. We have to be able to fight. We have to be able to punish whenever a politician needs punishing. Yeah. We cannot fall into the idea that we belong to a party, that it is our sports team that we have to cheer through thick and thin. We are Americans.
We are loyal to the principles behind it.
Exactly. We are loyal to an idea, a principle. We're not loyal to a party. We're not loyal to a person.
Yeah.
We fought a war to leave that kind of crap behind.
Yeah.
2 wars, actually.
Yeah.
And,
let's not fight a third.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need a third. So I just feel like so long as we stick to our principles, we'll eventually get there.
Okay.
And like I said, when we first started this conversation, that's happening naturally, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.